Later, Ellen, see you never. Good luck with that UK weather. You say that Trump's what since you're packing. We know it's cause your career be lacking. Enjoy your cricket, tea and biscuit. Fuel up and fade out, you stupid dick. Read all about the latest issue. This just in, nobody will miss you.
MC Gene, our Arkansas M&M.
What happens when Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly set their sights on Ellen DeGeneres? Spoiler: kindness does not survive. Hollywood's favorite dancing talk show host just tripped over some cold, hard truths. And Gutfeld and Kelly brought the receipts. From fake smiles to real chaos, this expose peels back the curtain on the Queen of Nice. And it's not pretty. Think you know Ellen? Think again. This is the plot twist no one saw coming. Except maybe her staff.
There's article after article of people being like, Ellen is a nasty person. And all these staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that.
It was all sunshine, sneakers, and studio dance parties. Ellen DeGeneres, the monarch of midday laughter, once floated across television screens like a cross between a fairy godmother and a motivational poster with legs. Her brand? Kindness. Her weapon of choice? Awkward celebrity interviews sandwiched between product plugs and crowd giveaways.
Ellen DeGeneres feeling the heat as more employees, past and present, from her show say that they were working in a toxic environment. Some Hollywood actors also speaking out against the talk show host now. Let's bring in Carly Shimkus of Fox News Headlines 24/7. Carly, good morning. Great to see you. So what more are we hearing on this story?
Yeah, so things are really spiraling here, and it's sort of two situations unfolding at once. One of them has to do with a mountain of complaints against the show's executive producers. Some 47 past and current employees have complained to BuzzFeed News. Allegations ranging from toxic work environment, bullying, now even harassment.
But behind that velvet curtain of forced giggles and choreographed cheerfulness, something was festering. Something far less Disney, far more dystopian. Forget, is simmering. This wasn't a gentle bubble of discomfort. It was a pressure cooker of workplace weirdness cooked on high heat and left unchecked for years. The grins, flawless but hollow. The applause, prompted and rehearsed. The entire production engineered with the precision of a military drill and the warmth of a DMV on a Monday morning.
On camera, she laughed while she badgered her staff. And so all good things must end. And also the Ellen DeGeneres show. Yes, the 83-year-old entertainer just announced that the upcoming 19th season of her show will be its last. Apparently, she created a workplace more toxic than an Amazon warehouse in Chernobyl. Countless allegations surfaced last summer that the show's work environment was rife with harassment and discrimination. Following those charges, Ellen's ratings dropped faster than Kevin Spacey's pants at a boy band pool party. Try to say that fast.
It was a performance. 1 part tap dance, 2 parts televised therapy session, designed to create the illusion of comfort, while running on fumes of control. What the audience saw was laughter and lollipops. What they didn't see, an atmosphere more micromanaged than a toddler's diet, where spontaneity was forbidden, and human connection came with a backstage manual.
You saw her. This is not a nice person. So she eventually got canceled, but now she's coming back. She's got a Netflix special. That's the right response.
Yeah.
She's got a Netflix special. And here's the capper. On the promo, and apparently there's now articles out about from people who have seen the preview. She plays the victim. And she says, poor me. And she actually has the nerve to say that she was run out of Hollywood.
Every segment, every smile, every tear-jerking giveaway was calculated. Not out of generosity, but out of brand strategy. The set was a pastel-colored illusion. The crew, disposable gears in a kindness-themed marketing machine. It was the entertainment world's most elaborate optical illusion. A feel-good empire where nobody felt good unless they were rich, famous, or holding a clip-on mic. And then, like a glitter-covered Jenga tower in a thunderstorm, the structure collapsed. Years of pressure gave way, the fairy dust wore off, and who came charging into the wreckage? Not with a mop or PR-friendly spin, but with stilettos and a smile sharp enough to slice through 2 decades of manufactured joy. Megyn Kelly. She didn't tiptoe into the chaos. She catwalked straight into the eye of the scandal, armed with receipts, decades of media training, and a battle-hardened instinct for nonsense. She wasn't interested in comfort. She wasn't there to fluff pillows or soften the blow. She came to audit the empire and expose every single crack in the foundation. And she didn't whisper, she detonated. For Megyn, Ellen wasn't merely another television figure with a branding hiccup. She was a walking, talking manifestation of the rot baked into the modern entertainment machine. A pastel-draped mascot for a carefully managed moral facade. A shiny distraction masking the festering contradictions of celebrity culture.
Ellen got canceled for real a few years ago from just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a single comment she said or something she did, just lots of people saying that working for her was a living nightmare and that she's a jerk. And I think that's probably why she wants to leave, because she hasn't really been able to make a comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, remember how everybody loved Ellen? They're like, Ellen, we love you, Ellen's here, yay. And then that all went away. So she probably has been thinking of a reason to leave, and now she thinks that this is the reason to try to make it look like some sort of, look how afraid I am, I feel how you feel because I'm, you know, of Trump.
Yeah, it was just the excuse. She is, Emily, I watched her comedy special. It was like a huge pity party. It was about how she was lamenting how her reputation has suffered. She's essentially as popular as a pit bull with monkeypox.
Ellen represented the slick packaging of virtue, mass-produced and sold by the gallon. She didn't just perform niceness. She manufactured it in bulk, slapped a smiley label on it, and distributed it like daytime gospel. Beneath the twirls and talk show giveaways was a system so artificial, it made plastic look organic. Ellen's success wasn't just based on talent, it was built on compliance. Compliance from her staff, from the media, from an audience trained to applaud on cue. It wasn't a workplace, it was a loyalty test. Behind that glossy studio set was a fortress of micromanagement, control, and silence. The rules weren't quirky, they were Orwellian. The no eye contact aura wasn't. A rumor, it was practically policy. And yet the media, those fearless seekers of truth, became starry-eyed extras in the sitcom of her empire. Megyn didn't have to dig through confidential memos or whistleblower exposés. The dysfunction was practically spilling out of the air, vents. Former employees didn't so much talk as exhale frustration. The stories weren't rare, they were rampant. And yet the press corps kept pressing the snooze button. The image of Ellen as the embodiment of daytime delight was just too valuable to tamper with. So instead of accountability, we got more. Segments about puppies, cupcakes, and celebrity selfies.
Putting this on Trump, do you think that she's going to be, just everybody's going to love her in England?
Especially the jihadis who love the lesbians so much. They're going to love her there. I think she's fleeing for way more than her anger over Trump.
If Trump is truly responsible for Ellen's exodus, shouldn't that go down as his greatest achievement in the last 8? I mean, he should get the Nobel Prize.
He's literally going to have a who's who of left. I mean, the entire 80s music catalog is gone. You got Springsteen, Cher, Madonna. I just don't know why they keep showing pictures of Aaron Rodgers with blonde hair.
Selfies. What Megyn saw was a culture that didn't just tolerate hypocrisy, it massaged it, praised it, and syndicated it. The entertainment industry didn't merely protect Ellen. It depended on her. Her presence allowed them to pretend everything was still pure, still playful, still safe. Meanwhile, behind that sparkly curtain, it wasn't compassion. It was command. And when it finally cracked, the only surprise was how long it took for anyone to admit the glitter was just dust. Megyn, being no stranger to how media sausage gets made, pulled that curtain back fast. She laid it out. Ellen's empire was less Oprah and more Disney villain origin story. Megyn dissected the timeline, the carefully choreographed rise, the hollow apologies, The ratings dive that followed like a scene from a soap opera written by karma itself. While the world applauded Ellen's dancing, Megyn noticed the silence in the wings. The ex-staffers whispering stories of fear and micromanagement, all while the media machine kept polishing that halo with industrial-grade spin. Kindness, it seemed, was a brand. And in Hollywood, brands are bulletproof. Until they're not. But Megyn wasn't just there to slap on a wristband and walk away. No. She launched a full-blown autopsy. How could someone so wholesome be so conveniently insulated from accountability? Why were whispers treated like white noise until Twitter turned up the volume? Her favorite part? The glorious double standard.
I have a question for you on this. This is perfect for you. Because I'm seeing this week that there is an attempted comeback by somebody who did not cross one of those fateful lines of the misstepping on their sacred cows of gender or race or sexuality.
Yeah.
But she was said to be a nasty biatch, and that's Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
So her show got canceled after she had this testy exchange with Dakota Johnson, where something happened where Dakota said, "Oh, I had this birthday party," and Ellen said, "Well, why didn't you invite me? You didn't invite me." And she said, "No, I did invite you, Ellen. That's not what happened." And Ellen had blown her off, and then tried to play the victim on the.
When a conservative steps out of line, the media pounces like pigeons on spilled popcorn. But Ellen, she got the spa treatment. Soft headlines, a sympathy arc. And suddenly, she's the misunderstood victim. Cute. Megyn didn't buy it, and she made sure no one else did either. Just as Ellen's media shield was wearing thin, in stormed Greg Gutfeld, America's favorite sarcastic wrecking ball. While Megyn used a scalpel, Gutfeld brought a jackhammer, a laugh track, and that trademark grin. First move? Rip off Ellen's sainthood and slap on. Sponsored by Hollywood Delusion. To Greg, Ellen wasn't a fallen angel, just another woke mascot face-planting on her pedestal. His specialty, mockery with meaning. Ellen's apology tour? Not just theatrical, Oscar-worthy. The most uncomfortable comedy sketch Ellen ever performed, because nothing screams sincerity like a publicist's scripted speech under studio lights. He laughed hardest at the idea that Ellen was learning about the toxic environment she built. Oh, really? Like she tripped and accidentally ran a nightmare workplace? Gutfeld nailed it. Hollywood sells redemption arcs like vending machine gum. But when you write your own, it's not growth, it's PR yoga. He dissected Ellen's obsession with celebrity culture too. The constant name-dropping, the royal, interviews, the billionaire bromances. It wasn't just tacky, it was off-brand. You can't preach humility with a Gucci megaphone. Gutfeld mocked the whole relatable shtick. Ellen wasn't your friend. She was your illusion, shrink-wrapped and syndicated 5 days a week. But Greg didn't stop at Ellen. He pointed, his comedic missile at the whole ecosystem that let her thrive. Her fans, trained to clap like seals. Her staff, treated like invisible stage props. And the media, too drunk on her charm to do their jobs. Greg didn't expose Ellen alone. He exposed the entire fantasy factory she danced out of. And don't forget the apology optics. Ellen stood there, a millionaire in designer sneakers, tearfully explaining how she was just growing. Gutfeld laughed so hard, you could hear it echo through every fake plant in her studio. Growing? At 60? In what direction? Toward the exit. He tore into her, "I'm still learning" routine like it was the plotline of a failed Netflix pilot. Because let's face it, when you've been rich and famous for decades, the only thing you're still learning is how to avoid responsibility. Greg's thesis? Ellen didn't fall. She tripped on her own image while doing a trust fall into a pile of unpaid interns. Back in Megyn's corner, the story gained momentum. She zoomed in on the aftershock. Sponsors peeling away, fans hitting pause, and ratings diving like a politician in a polygraph test. Megyn wasn't surprised. She saw it coming like a slow train through Beverly Hills. What fascinated her wasn't the scandal, but the silence before it. Years of controlled interviews, softball questions, and media fluff. Ellen didn't just fool the public, she trained them. Kindness became a costume, and when it slipped, it exposed something far uglier. Megyn focused on the cultural shift. Ellen's downfall wasn't just a celebrity meltdown, it was a mirror. The public was done with plastic smiles and prepackaged morals. They wanted real, and Ellen's brand of authenticity was the fakest thing on TV. She called out the echo chamber. Ellen praised by friends, interviewed by protégés, defended by fans. One big Studio City snow globe, pretty on the koi. Outside, fake at the core. Then Greg returned for one last roast. He zoomed out and saw Ellen not just as a fallen host, but as a symbol of celebrity absurdity. A polished avatar for a culture that rewards fake virtue and punishes honesty. He compared her empire to a sitcom that forgot it wasn't real. Every day was scripted, every laugh choreographed, and every entrance a performance of a version of herself that stopped being real years ago. The final nail, Gutfeld's roast. Ellen didn't build a talk show. She built a theme park of self-righteousness. And when it collapsed, all that remained was canned applause and expired vegan snacks. Megyn and Greg didn't just expose Ellen. They dismantled her myth, piece by glittery piece, with sarcasm sharp enough to strip Hollywood's delusions bare. No redemption arc. No tearful comeback. This wasn't television anymore. This was reality. Makeup off, under harsh sunlight. Ellen became a cautionary tale. Not just for celebrities, but for anyone mistaking a platform for a personality. She wasn't cancelled. She was revealed. Megyn exposed the rot. Greg burned down the set. And America. America didn't gasp. It nodded. This wasn't Ellen's show anymore. It was the last episode, written by Karma, produced by reality. And Ellen didn't just lose her throne. She danced herself right off the stage.
They must stay in the hell of Trump. We're out of here. By the way, Walter.
I think we could let the illegal aliens stay if we get enough of Hollywood to self-deport.
Yes. I will take 1,000.
You know, exactly.
I'll take 1,000 Venezuelan migrants for one share.
Exactly. If you can get one Hollywood star to leave, you get to stay. Otherwise, it's out.
You know what, though? It's funny. I just want to bring this up to you. You can comment or not.
Yeah.
So she left a celebrity base to go to London, and she's already ensconced with other celebrities. So she's basically still in the same bubble.
She's not going back to London. She's going to Oxfordshire. And as the only person on this set who attended Oxford University.
No, way to drop that in.
It's true. I can tell you that there is nothing high British Oxford society loves more than a failed and despised American talk show.
Home of Matt Lauer. That the bad press actually had nothing to do with her decision. Right, and the Titanic didn't hit an iceberg. It chose to sink.
If it was why I was quitting, I would have not come back this year. I really did think about not coming back because it did, it was devastating. I am a kind person. I am a person who likes to make people happy.
No, the real reason, she says, is it was just too easy. Telling the Hollywood Reporter, quote, when you're a creative person, you constantly need to be challenged. And as great as this show is, and as fun as it is, it's just not a challenge anymore. Well, if that's true, here's an idea. When your viewership is down 43%, why not consider that the challenge? DeGeneres bails for the UK. All right. I'm going to go to you first, Kat, because this is I think you understand this story. So Ellen and her wife, Portia, have left their millionaire haven of Montecito for England. Now, they're saying they'll never come back in the wake of Trump's win. Do you think that's the reason why she's leaving?
Absolutely not.